discussion here at the Trenton Public Library. I'm Anwar. I'm the founder of Anwar's Reflections. It's a blog that's been out for about a year now, and if you're not familiar with it, and I can be found on the Trentonian.com in the blog center. If you're interested in checking it out, we also have cards on the tables if you're interested in checking out my direct site. I'm really excited about this event. Black history is something that's very important. Black history is a very important subject to me. It's been for a while. However, I wanted to create this event out of nowhere. I don't know, I was sitting at home on the computer one night, nothing to do, and I was perusing through all these videos, and I came across a song called Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is the Negro National Anthem. I didn't know that was, I knew it was a Negro National Anthem, but I never knew the name of the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and that was the inspiration behind getting together a variety of different viewpoints and perspectives for this, to show the diversity of Black America on a local level. And you see what we have. We have business people, community activists, rap artists, a political activist, community activist, an educator. And you see you can also not only see on the panel, you can see in the audience the diversity of Black America. We come in different shapes, colors, ideas. So I wanted all those voices to be heard and lifted, as the song said, and that's why I brought us all together, to bring together those minds and to see how we can connect the three dimensions of time, past, present, and future, which is all about history. So we have some individuals that are making history as we speak on our panel. So without further ado, to my immediate right, I have Tracy Syfax, business person, very influential person. He has a new book out from the Boardroom. He's doing a lot of big things. We have Darren Freedom Green next to him, a community activist who's been very vocal, very active in the community. We have next to him we have Big U, rap artist in Trenton, been representing Trenton for a very long time. His most recent project, I believe, is God First, All I See Is the Money. He's also playing a part in from the Block to the Boardroom project with Tracy. On my part and everybody else too, that we don't even know. A lot of people don't even know a majority of the lyrics. But that's another topic. But again, that goes back to the overall point. Black history is to promote self-knowledge, self-awareness, because when you're aware of who you are, you know who you are, it influences the way you interact with other people, it influences the way you see yourself, and it's important that we know each other as who we are as a people. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I want to make this more of a, I don't want to make it so formal, I want to make it, in light of the way everything is structured, I want to make it more conversational. So that, people from the audience can chime in. The only ground rule I would set is that, panel members, and everybody in the audience, keep your responses to 2 minutes. Okay, and if you go over 2 minutes, I'm going to have to politely just let you know. You got to get to the next comment. Okay? And the only other ground rule or comment I would like to make is that basically just keep everything respectful. No, name calling or anything like that. Everybody knows that. So that's the only thing I would say as a ground rule. So I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Excuse me, Mr. Hart, would you like to join the panel?
On bus number 54. And the message I took from that was that if you couldn't find a job in your community, your charge was to go back and make yourself a job. So I did that when I had heard that call. So looking back on history, yes, but looking at the present and what we have now, Black history has always been made every year by us. So those folks definitely influenced my thinking and the way I operate today.
Thanks, Tracy. Freedom.
For me, it should be required reading for our babies. The autobiography of Malcolm X. Malcolm was the epitome of blackness. And at a time where men were fearful of standing up and holding weight and being responsible, he was it. And I think when I began to read that book and review it, it allowed me to internalize everything he was about. So I began to take on those principles of knowledge of self, self-determination, educating myself. But more importantly, where I'm at now and what differentiates me from a lot of other people is the execution of an idea. I'm just tired of people talking. I think that's what I'm here today to determine, that we stop talking and begin to put things in play and move them forward from Genesis to Revelations, from the inception to completion. So that's where I'm at with this.
All right, thanks for that. Boo, any influences on you from Black history?
I'm gonna probably have to go with Malcolm X as well. A lot of people don't know, like people call me Oaks, my government name is Anwar. You know what I mean? So my father's Muslim, you know what I mean? So early on growing up, you know, I would be getting in a little trouble, whatever the case may be. My mom would send me to my father for the weekend. So when I would be with him, I would just be picking up, you know, a little ear hustling, like, you know what I mean, over listening to conversations I really wasn't supposed to be listening to, like, you know what I mean, they'd be talking about Malcolm X and watching like VCR tapes and speeches and stuff like that. So, you know, you're a kid, you're not really interested in that stuff, but you're forced to watch it because you ain't got no say-so. You know what I mean? So, but it's funny, like the stuff we forced to watch as kids, as we grow older, we understand the significance of it. You know what I mean? So we'll have to go with Malcolm X too.
All right, thanks. So, Daryl?
As in my audiobook, I talk about YB, my family out in Georgia. My cousin, Artie Jones Jr., who was county commissioner in the 70s. He was the first black county commissioner. My uncle, John Wesley Wilson, who was the head of African American Studies at Akron University in the 80s. So, and basically a lot of family, most influential family down in Georgia, where they were shrimpers, they owned their own companies. So they had to worry about anything, worry about the white man telling them what to do. You know, they made history. And so, yeah, that was somewhat my influence. And influenced me to, because Artie Jones Jr. influenced me to go into politics. Politics didn't start in Trenton, it started in St. Mary's, Georgia, working on this campaign. And becoming the first Trenton, only one from Trenton ever to run for Congress. That's U.S. Senate. The first person from Trenton to run for U.S. Senate. So that's important to me.
That's it. You know, okay. All right. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Vaughn?
I would say it's definitely Malcolm, young black man in America, definitely influenced. But the person who influenced him was Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And me being a member of the Black Panther Party, I was able to meet the extension of what Elijah Muhammad gave to Malcolm through Minister Farrakhan, and I actually had a personal, direct connection with Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, you know, who was a student of those teachings. So it's not a mystery that Malcolm stands out to a lot of us in these ghettos. It's not a mystery, and definitely UEP Newton, because of the direct stance that he decided to take and present real solutions for our people.
Brian?
I would say, of course, all of the people that we all know of. But before all of that, my mother and my father. My mom, who was in the back, worked at the State Library for 37 years. So she was in and around information, you know, and every documentary, every show, everything that ever came on television, from Black History Month, PBS, Roots, everything, she made me watch it. And so I always had an affinity for history, you know, for information and knowledge, always. And even still, you know, my mom provides me with information, you know, and then that trickled down to my brother, who in, I would say, late 80s, became a member of the Nation of Gods and Earths, or 5% Nation. And what that did for me was be able to take information that he was learning and then filter it down for me to be able to digest and use. So you had 6th grade, I was in 6th grade at PJ Hill, we was running around saying peace God to each other. not really understanding what that really meant. But in 6th grade, we was looking at each other as God. That's a powerful concept in sixth grade. Children today don't see themselves as God. We're not talking about God, the creator God. We're talking about the energy of God, that aspect of God. So if you see young children seeing each other as God, then they're not going to be disrespecting each other. How you going to disrespect God? So I give thanks to my parents, you know, who had this clear understanding of who we were as black people and what not to take from anybody else that did not look like us.
All right, thank you, Sharon. The next question is actually too, you know, as an educator, you know, in the Garvey School, you know, I want to know, what are your thoughts? What do you have to say about, you know, failing schools and communities like Trenton? You know, and since you have a school that was actually probably birthed out of seeing the failures in public schools, what do you have to say about the failing schools in urban communities like Trenton?
Yeah, I saw the questions when you laid them out, and I just wanted to say that there's no separation between any of the brothers on this panel. We're all community activists, we're all educators, we're all rappers, we're all the same. So there's no separation. We all can answer each other's questions. I just wanted to say that. All right? So I'm not the educator. I'm an educator, but they're all educators. The Garvey School is a small, independent, private school here in the city of Trenton, which I founded in 2003. And the reason being is that I came from Temple University, got my master's degree, graduated from Clark Atlanta University, and came back to Trenton with my hands full. I wanted to change the world, right? And got a job at Granville Charter School. And unfortunately, the administrators at the institution was not interested in what this young black man could do for the school. And I'm from Trenton, born and raised. So I had a vision for how we can change the institution around, and they were more concerned with my daishiki versus me having a shirt and tie on. Right. They were more concerned with whether my name was legally Jermaine Caldwell or Baye Kimmett. Right. That's small stuff. Right. These children are dying out here. Exactly. So we can change this curriculum around and bring a new vision into this institution. So from that time, I mean, it was within 2 months. By October, I was already in the writing stages of this new institution that I founded. By April, I had a full-page article in the Trent Times about this new school that was opening. So, the pantheon of the troubles of Trenton in 2 minutes, right? The larger issues are this. You have teachers in our school system that don't live in our communities, that don't look like the children that they're educating, that know nothing about the children that they're educating. Curriculums are not cookie cutter. You can't take what children in Hunterdon County is supposed to learn, bring that to Mercer County, expect for that to fit. It doesn't work like that. You can't take the Chevy engine and throw it in a BMW, the car's not going to run the same. We have to look at what the troubles are facing our children in Trenton, and curtail the curriculum to face those issues. Gang violence, teenage pregnancy, illiteracy, malnourishment, all those things. That has to be in the curriculum. So if a child is having a one-parent home with small income, we have to be able to come into the classroom, and the children have to be able to learn how to rework that situation so they can bring resources back to their community and to their household. School is about providing resources for people. Food, clothing, shelter, education, defense, medication. If the children don't know how to provide those resources for themselves, they'll continue to be consumers and not owners. We need to create producers in our community, and we're only creating people who are going to go out and buy and not own. So, I know we're limited on time, but as a follow-up, so would you say that public schools are producing consumers? Is that what you're saying? The purpose of education is to get students to graduate so they can either get a job, right? We have to get our children educated. Right? Am I right, Tracy? Yeah, right. How many people come knocking on your door, they want a job? You're like, they got no skills. Right? We have to get the children to the point where they are creative, they're thinking, they're learning how to work out of situations and problems. Because if you can work out of one, you can work out of all of them. I got people come every day. My child is smart. We could get him in your school. He can count 1 to 10. But if I threw all the numbers on the floor and throw him reverse them, can he put them in order? That's critical thinking. Right. He knows his alphabets, but can he rework the alphabet and put them in order? See, if you can work that out, now we can get our children to the next step. So in the Trenton, just to sum it up, in Trenton, the issue is a very large issue. We don't have community control of our schools. We don't control who's hired, who's fired. We don't control any penny that's spent in the school system. We have people that sit across the table like this and they decide paper pushing type stuff. But we need policy changers in our community on the Board of Education. And when it starts at the top, it can trickle down, and then it can come down to the parents and come back up to the board. So.
Good point. I just want to piggyback on what he just said, because really something that he said was real critical about producing consumers and not producers. Even in Bush's No Child Left Behind Act, financial literacy is mandatory for 12th graders. Trenton High has yet to implement that. That is a travesty. When you look at the check cashing place in a lot of urban areas throughout America, they're there for a reason, to pry on our ignorance. So with that act, and us not holding them accountable, our kids are still not learning financial literacy. And it's the law. So when you talk about the system, the educational system, it is effed up. But we have to start holding people accountable for it being effed up. We can no longer continue to say, okay, we've got an educational system for 20, 25 years. And a lot of this stuff gets to be around political because of the unions and the teachers' unions and all these other unions. They get their hands involved and, no, we want this, no, we don't want that. And a lot of our elected leaders go along with that. We have to start holding the people accountable about our educational system. We can no longer keep playing the same old game, running the same old system and producing consultants instead of producers.
It should have been changed. Years ago, I'm 60 years old. I don't mean to interrupt. My name is Robert.
Can you hold on 1 second, though, brother, and let the panel, get finished? Because there is a certain
there's going to be a time.
You want to get the, I think, audience time. If you don't mind, brother, give us a moment, all right?
My point is quick. I spoke to the previous mayor who was in power for over 20 years. I spoke to this mayor. And one of the first questions I would examine is, he doesn't say it because, he's humble about it, but does anyone know that Baye has the credentials to be the superintendent of schools? Now, you just sat here and listened to him now. You heard articulation, you heard intelligence, you heard commitment, you heard excellence in motion. And sitting and looking and examining our school system, the most problematic individuals are really the 13 to 19-year-old young black males and females. Can you imagine if he's commanding that system, what kind of operations it would be in terms of everybody under his purview? There would not be no acceptance of mediocrity. And that is what needs to happen in Trenton. Trenton is the only place where if you fail, you are promoted, you're even compensated heavily for it. I've never lived in a place like this place. It's a monster and a beast of its own. You have a board that sits in place and completely misappropriates funding, and no one says anything. You have a system that clearly fails producing children who are completely, like Baye said, they don't have the ability to deal with the basic functions. And I'm in the school system, and all it is now is monetary gain. How much they're actually setting our babies up to be specialized so that they can make more money off them. But the greatest failure, and this is what I love about Baye, is we have not developed people or individuals. And the greatest failure right now are the parents. The parents have disconnected themselves from the educational process. You can have a school board meeting, and you can have, right now you have no curriculum in schools, schools with no teachers, no books, and the school board meeting will have 10 people in there. So where's the outcry? And there has never been a connection from the Board of Education and the city government, from the mayor and council, to make education priority #1. And until we do that, because I said again, internally, when you look in, first thing a parent is going to ask is the school system qualitative? If it's not, you're going to exit or send your child elsewhere. If you're on the outside looking in, that's the first thing you're going to ask as a parent. Is the school system safe, and can my child learn there? That question on both of them is a big no in the city of Trenton. So now you have everybody who's competent and qualified leaving the city of Trenton, and you have nobody coming in who's competent, qualified, or intelligent. So you have a recycling of dysfunctional people, and that's what's tearing the core frame of our city.
That's good. Thank you for sharing. Just to reiterate, we don't, like I said, it's just a matter of time limits. I really value everybody's opinion and viewpoint. Just due to time limits, we're going to have to keep every comment, even responses to initial comments, to 2 minutes.
Hit the buzzer, bro. Hit the buzzer.
Yeah, you got time?
We got a lot of passion. Hit the buzzer, bro.
I would, but this is really good stuff.
Hit the buzzer.
We also add one point.
What's that?
What was said. We cannot forget. The the backdrop of this is Black History Month, why this is being done. The backdrop to everything we're talking about is the missing cultural piece that, when we say they, when y'all hear that word they, that means the power structure were mostly ran by white males. So they have something in place that says these people will never learn who they are. These people will understand what their purpose is in life. So you end up with a consumer. Even with financial literacy, y'all know a fool and his money will soon depart. If you don't understand, you got a gazillion dollars in front of you. The gazillion dollars goes to 10 cars and 18 pair of sneakers. And no real refinement for your community, no passed down, tradition of wealth and, culture. You pass it down poverty. So understand that most of what's behind this is our lack of cultural self-determination, our lack of esteem, our lack of accepting who we really are and what we're supposed to be doing with what we know. So that's in my opinion, but it's so closely tied to facts of why we are in the situation we're in, because we really just don't know who we are. We have jobs, we end up being pastors, basketball players, rappers, football players, but most of us don't know who we are. And that's hard when you're 15 years old or 55 years old and you're trying to function in a world or in a society where everybody's telling you to be responsible, do this, make something happen. I don't know who I am. It looks like I do. I got clothes on, I brush my teeth, my breath smells good, but I still don't know who I am. And until those things are put in place in the school system, we can't expect, my brother's line, the lions to teach rabbits, that y'all are right with us. At the end of the day, you are our meal for the night, Mr. Rabbits, all of you, at the end of the day. And until we change that dynamic, we get placed back in the position of the lions, then we'll be all right.
The gazelle don't send their young to the lions to be educated.
Right.
The gazelles don't send their young to the lions to be educated.
All right. I apologize.
Y'all were talking, so we just took an extra couple minutes.
Yeah.
You calm down. You go. Y'all slipped, so we kept going.
Since we have less time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the structure of this a little bit. So I'm going to ask more broad questions now, as opposed to just asking specific questions to you guys. So I'm going to give each individual 2 minutes to respond to this next question. Or 3 minutes, I'm sorry, for this next question, since it's a more lengthy question. Speaking about leadership in Black America, that's a big thing, without a vision, people perish. We need leaders to have visions. So when it comes to leadership, on the rap song Black Zombies, I don't know if anybody heard the song, okay? Rap artist Nas said, "Fuck black leaders because whites ain't got none leading them." In 2012, do you think we need black leaders? Like individuals like this one charismatic individual, or is it more of a grassroots leadership, sort of grand leadership? So I'll start off with Daryl this time.
Okay. If you look through the history of America, true black leadership that's going to stand up and challenge the system. We have none at all. And the ones that we have in power, they're weak. They're totally weak. They're afraid. They're afraid of the white political structure. If you look at Dr. King, look at the movement, look at Malcolm, look at Martin, look at the Marcus Garvey, how they challenged the system, how their lives were threatened, how they died for the cause. When are we going to have some black leaders that are going to die for the cause? I'm telling you, what I see, especially in Trenton, jokers, and that's what they are. Jokers are weak. They know there's a problem. I've been trying to speak about it. You know it's a problem. When are you going to deal with it? And we have individuals, whether preachers, politicians, activists, they talk. But when it comes down to it, they won't challenge the government. They won't challenge the white democratic power structure. Why is that? Because they don't have a lot of, to be honest, they're afraid. Plain and simple, many of us are afraid of the white democratic power structure. And this is why we have this problem. We can fix this thing overnight. All the blacks, we don't even know all the blacks. But enough of us get together, let's go down to the governor. Say, we want you to change these policies right now, we're going to shut you down. We're going to shut the bridges down. We're going to shut the highways down. We're going to shut you down. No one is coming in and out of the city, the State House. And we're going to go to jail for what you don't believe in. How many brothers and sisters are going to do that? How many activists? I mean, we know it's a problem. So it's you. I mean, Reverend Armstrong asked him, what are you going to do about the problems in the kids in prison? Well, we know it's a problem. You told me that. Well, since you know, when are you going to deal with it?
That's 3
You know,
minutes.
and that's the problem.
Yeah, well, that's 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
I was very passionate about it.
But then you're afraid, and to do something like that, you know, well, you're going to have a problem.
I agree, bro.
And next we'll go with who? You have any comments on leadership, Black America?
I mean, basically what's going on right now, in my opinion, is a lack of leadership. I mean, if we're going to talk back about the civil rights, of course it was before my time, but I'm just going off what I read in the books and what I was taught. You understand what I'm saying? When you got somebody in power that people can follow behind the positive light and showing some type of structure, a lot of people want to do right. You understand what I'm saying? But people won't go with the examples they see before them. So we can sit in this room and say what needs to be done, but how many people are really out in the field telling the people what needs to be done? You understand what I'm saying? I ran into this brother in the trenches, in the field, explaining what needs to be versus everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not going to have the people that need the leadership in places like this. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people that need the leadership, you fall on deaf ears because they don't even hear you because they too busy running without leadership. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely needed because we all need something to follow. Everybody needs a structure to follow, a blueprint to follow, to take from it and make your own blueprint. I might see something you're doing that's inspiration, like we always say, it's inspiration. I see something you're doing, I'm picking up from that. You're picking up from something I'm doing, it's vice versa. But it all goes back to leadership, structure, and just being willing to learn, man. You know what I mean? But you can't be willing to learn without nobody to teach you. You know what I mean? So,
Ooh, I would follow up on that. Since you're, in the music industry, I mean, as a rap artist, I mean, what can, music do to influence or act as a leader?
I mean, music.
Because it influences so many people.
See, a lot of times people get it twisted with music, and they point the finger at the music, and they point the finger at this. You can't point the finger at the music for so much. You understand what I'm saying? Because nobody's pointing the finger at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Go ahead. When he snatching kids out the cradle and throwing them all upside the wall and saying, that's making people kill kids. That's entertainment. That's cool. It's a $1 billion industry. We overlook that. They get money. You understand what I'm saying? But when I paint my picture of what I'm saying through music, through rhyme and the beat, it's a problem. Now, everybody does it. The artists do it. He had the artist that used to be on TV with the afro. He painted trees and birds and bunny rabbits. That was his life. Right. You got Ernie Barnes. He painted people in the pool hall, shooting pool, pimps, hoes, players. That's the world he's seeing. So I'm doing the same thing through music. Marvin Gaye asking me what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. People's music should reflect their life and should have some personality in the music. That's what develops a connection between the followers and the musician. You understand what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times, you can't blame a lot of artists. Of course we all glorify things maybe that don't need to be glorified. Of course we do. We're human. We're coming from areas where we're coming from nothing, so it's a celebration to have a little something. We fought for a lot of people. I tell people all the time around the way, like, y'all want to rap. I'm like, rap is hard work, bro. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, I see some of the questions. You was like, people, they see the videos, they see the Rose, and they see the Bentleys and all that. But you got people that work 35 years to get there. People like Rick Ross worked 25 years to get in a position of power. I'm just using him as an example. So this is hard work. Like, a lot of sleepless nights, people working around the clock. And that's the part people don't see. Like, a lot of times people see the glory, they don't know the story.
There you
You
go.
understand what I'm saying? So,
Thank you. Freedom, can I get your thoughts on leadership in Black America?
I won't go global with it. I'll keep it local. I mean, really, what has to happen is we have to become better qualifiers of who leaders are. I'll give you a direct parallel. Look at the Sixers this year. You bring Doug Collins in, you don't hear any outlandish stories, and that team is now playing on a better quality and excellent level of play.
Yes, sir.
It's clearly indicative when you have qualitative leadership in play, it produces results. Historically, we have always sat in this city, and again, I'll tell you just how dumbed down the citizens are. For 20 years, we had a mayor who sat in a position of power in the downtown area, right down the street here. It's void, it's unproductive, is inept, doesn't do anything. You have a school system that is deplorable, has not produced results in years, and you've had public safety issues for over 20 years. But if Palmer was to come and run tomorrow, he would be re-elected. This is the mindset that we're dealing with. And then when you speak to facts and remove fiction, you are painted as some type of, you're a terrorist. You're some type of anybody who's wrong. But I'm asking you to examine the surroundings and the quality of life. I'm saying to you, people need to be put into positions and then produce. You need self-determination. You certainly need education, but there need to be an execution of the idea to the principle in training. And then I learned this from one of my teachers. There's too much emotion. And you get captivated off the energy of the idea. I grew up with him. I lived around him. I know his family. He coached my soccer team. My sons are on the same West End Little League. Immaterial to his ability to lead, direct, and govern. And I'm just saying, at some point in time, when people sit down, and when you get done talking to them, you see the idea, you see the initiative, and you're able to lead and execute that, that's leadership. And we have not had that in the city, and the quality of life outside these doors, it validates that. And I'm just saying to you, from the political arena, even right now, you had a Democratic ticket who just came through and successfully walked the block, cleaned the floors. All of them walked through the city of Trenton. I'm not a punk. I'll name names from Senator Turner to the county executive to all of the assemblymen, Woman Bonnie Watson Coleman, to Assembly Reed Gussiori, all of them, to the freeholders. And now in this city right now, people are murdered in broad daylight. And nobody says a word. Nobody speaks to the issue. Our children kill each other. There's gang proliferation here. There's $1 million project taking place right now over by the housing authority. And you have young brothers and sisters sitting on corners unemployed. And nobody says a word.
No, he said a word.
But when Freedom speaks to it, he's wrong. He's a terrorist. He doesn't like nobody. And even in my own community, I'm a hater. But what am I hating? I'm hating that I see young people, regardless of their ethnic background, killing themselves because they're uneducated and don't have the ability to gain employment. So most of the people that live in this city are in survival mode. They've never found life, so they don't know life, and there is a difference. And I want to be respectful to the time, so I'll stop there, but I can go in like anybody else. We all backed up right about now. I'm angry.
He has a right to be. When you look at the leadership that we have today, and contrary to some people's belief, I'm about as far left Democrat as you can get. But one of the things that I'll speak out against wrong whenever I see it. Arrogance and stupidity, I wallowed in that for 17 years in the streets. When I see it, and I see our people displaying it, especially in positions of power, I got a problem with that. I really do. You know what I mean? To say what we have right now is the first black mayor? Come on, man. Are we serious about that? What are we saying about us? If we're going to say what we have right now is the real black mayor. You know what I mean? Freedom has a right to be angry. You know what I mean? I have a right to be angry. Because of the fact that leadership in this city, and we'll talk about the Democrats, miserable. Nobody speaks about anything. The black clergy. The black clergy, concerned citizens, the concerned pastors. I'm trying to figure out what are they concerned about. That's the name of the group. The concerned pastors. What are you concerned about? An educational system that's failing, violence in the street, no economic development, and you're concerned? You know what I mean? And we need to start holding these folks accountable. You know, people call me, Tracy hating on the black. I'm going to give you a prime example. They recalling the governor right now. What's that, Wisconsin? Wisconsin's what they recall the governor? Not a lot of black folks out there. White folks, we call them the white governor. Do we say those white folks are hating on that white governor? They hating his policies. It's not his color. It's not that we went to school together. It's not that we friends. It ain't got nothing to do with this. Business is about business, with me, anyway. And when I see stuff that's wrong, that's not going to benefit the people of this city, I'm going to speak out against it. Because don't nobody pay my bills. I pay my own way. I don't work for the city. I don't work for the state. I do my own thing, so I can voice my opinion. I can go around folks and, Tracy hating on the black man. Man, listen, we have to get behind that. We got some serious problems here in the city of Trenton.
Yes, sir.
And folks that are in position need to be held accountable. Some of the leaders we got right now couldn't lead me through an open door, through a double open door. And that's real talk, man. And we need to, I just want to add one more thing. I just want to add one more thing about this march and stuff. And y'all mentioned this. You know, Rosa sat down for Martin to march. Martin marched for Obama to run and win. We don't need to go back to marching. We need to start holding people accountable and get on the inside where decisions are made, get at the table, because I can tell you about being at the boardroom table, being from the outside, being able to be at the boardroom table and listen to how folks talk about us, about what we're doing and what we're not doing. And we have to start being on the inside. All this marching and throwing shoes at the State House. And, I mean, listen, man, we need to do this ourselves. You know, folks want to march on the State House. It's just like going to college when you ain't graduated high school yet. Right. You got high school right down on East State Street. Why are you going to go down West State Street and mess with them? We need to get ourselves together, man.
I guess you can tell that to the people in Egypt why they had an Arab Spring.
Well, you need to have a tripping spring.
I mean, but yeah, you just said no marching. Yeah, we need.
You got to march the common.
But yeah, that's the idea is that we're. I'm just that's why. People understand why. I'm going to let you understand why I am, and he said it. Why I'm a Tea Party, because I got tired of the Democrat political environment, the weakness of black leadership, the weakness, and and it just bothers me. How,
Hold on for a minute now. I just came back and I didn't know what's going on.
Okay.
Hold that
I just
thought.
wanted to say
and then he's going to answer one question, and then it's going to be open up for the audience to answer you guys' questions.
Well, we didn't.
Part of our problem is there's no respect. Baye didn't go, and Divine didn't go. We got to start respecting each other too.
Right.
Right.
Baye and Divine didn't answer the political question.
We'll go with Baye.
He older, man. I gotta go with L.
That's good.
Like the African about
I consider myself, a radical young brother, a revolutionary young brother. Revolution don't mean change. You don't have to be scared of words. I know that there is a lack of dedicated, committed, sincere, uncompromising, unapologetic leadership.
Yes,
that is
sir.
an actual fact.
Yes, sir.
But I also know that there are some brothers and sisters who are in positions of leadership who are not afraid. But the ones who are not afraid, there's a conditioning process that goes on through the media that tells you not to support the one who's in a position to really move you forward. So when you hear somebody speaking strong, speaking truth to power, that's saying it's the white man that's doing this, and it's the truth. It doesn't mean that somebody's hating on the white man. It just means that I love or we love you so much that you need to realize what's happening and why you aren't supporting the people who are really for you. We just talked about this on our way here, talking with Big Brother Ramsey, about how usually the ones you're fighting for are the ones you fight more. And there's leadership in place, but we got to support those who are really committed to moving y'all forward, man. And unless you as individuals, unconscious, conscious, on your way to learning who you are, you got to bring 50% to the table. We doing our part. I think I'm at 55%. Y'all can come with 45% of what the work, the workload. Brothers and sisters are in position to help this city move forward, but people in the community have to stand up also. Stop depending on that one leader. That's the problem of leadership, or our view of leadership. We look for one person. Farrakhan, he's the illest, right now, in the midst of our situation in Black America.
Go ahead. But I should have made an announcement at the beginning. No cell phones. You guys can turn off the cell phones.
Vibrate.
Put them on vibrate, something like that. So we don't want this happening twice. All right, go ahead.
Minister Farrakhan is one of the, still living examples of real, honest, dedicated black leadership. Nobody pays him. He says what he wants. He cleans up the black man and woman. You can't take nothing from that. If y'all really want a program that's going to really move us forward, you don't got to believe in the politics, none of that madness. Look at the program, what it has done for our people. We all mentioned Malcolm. We would have no Malcolm if it wasn't for that program. That's what we have to look at. Dedicated, sincere, honest leadership that doesn't care that the media will call you a demon, but this sister right here knows that somebody who's real ain't no demon. And that's what we got to be clear on when we talk about leadership or black leadership. We just got to stop falling for the okie doke. Some black leaders, they just want some money out the deal. We know that. Stop supporting them. Stop voting for them.
That's right.
And that includes the President of the United States of America. Stop being caught up in the imagery of we got him now, he cool now. Leave that alone and look for the product that's going to really move you forward. That's what it's about. And when it comes to leadership.
Sure. Basically, I started off with the rap song with Nas, Black Zombies. He says, "Fuck black leaders, because whites ain't got none leading them." So my question to you, in this year, 2012, what are your thoughts on black leaders? Do we need black leaders? I mean, what I mean by that is saying, do we need that one individual that can really steer the team, or do we have a more grassroots leadership?
I'm going to take it from a historical perspective. First of all, I don't like to look at where black people are in comparison to white people. Like, white people is not our model for excellence.
Say it again.
Right? White people is not our model for excellence. All right? We took our students to the Trent House yesterday for a tour, and we learned a whole lot about what we should not be doing in terms of how other people live their lives. I think she told us that Europeans took 5 baths a year because they thought that it was more healthy to have dirt on your body, protected you from diseases. African people took baths quite frequently. They went to the river, they got their food, they bathed quite frequently. Historically, Africans did not have leaders in the way that we know leaders. That's a European concept, to have the Pope as the leader of everybody, to have a president. The chief was not the leader of the people. He was the person appointed to handle certain administrative detail types of things for the village or for the community. But he had to answer to other people. There was always a queen mother. Somewhere where there was a chief or a king, there was a mother, a woman, equally as powerful or more powerful than the king. That doesn't happen here in European culture. It doesn't happen in America. The president is the head. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. That's not our concept. Your leaders are your parents. Okay? Your leaders are your parents, your grandparents, people in your family. So Nas' premise is wrong. We should not be looking at what white America does for what we should do. Even if they're successful in it, it may not always be what we need to do in order to be successful. Okay? If their school, for example, since I'm an educator, if their school has nice lighting and wonderful books and tables and chairs, that's great for them. But we might need to go outside, sit on the grass, and get close to earth and no books.
Yes, sir.
We don't have to do everything the Europeans do in the way that they do it.
Right.
So leadership, and I agree with mostly what everybody said, here in terms of leadership, you know what I'm saying? But leadership is not something that has to be monolithic. It doesn't have to be one person, one institution. Kwame Ture said that the genius of a people can be demonstrated by all of them, a majority of them, a minority of them, or by one of them. So we don't have to look at one person to be the leader. It could be a small percentage of us, it could be most of us, or we all can be all hands on deck in terms of leadership.
Thank you all for that was coming. Now, my last question before we open up to the audience is, you can't talk about black history without talking about Barack Obama, the first black president. Can't ignore that historical fact. So from a philosophical standpoint, there's been an intense debate among individuals like public intellectual Cornel West and radio personality the Reverend Al Sharpton. West contends that the Obama administration has not adequately addressed the issue of poverty since being in office. West went so far as to call President Obama a mascot for the wealthy. Sharpton, on the other hand, suggests that Obama's role as president is not to cater to any particular group, including Black Americans or African Americans. Sharpton says that Obama is the president of the broader United States of America, not Black America. What are your thoughts? I'm going to ask each individual here. What are your thoughts on? You guys already kind of spoke to it. That it's not about one individual, pointing to since issues are still have a high unemployment rate, still have a lot of problems. Is it about pointing toward Barack Obama saying fix our problems, or is it do we got to do something more on a local level? So my question is though, what are your thoughts on this matter? Should President Obama should he address the issues affecting Black Americans, the high unemployment rates and so forth and so on? Or should that be more of a localized thing that we do on the grassroots here? And I'll start with Tracy. 3 minutes here.
3 minutes? Okay.
I know it's that.
I would say first, all politics are local. If you're going to affect your community, you got to do it on a local level. Barack Obama is the president of the United States of America. But bringing it back to a little bit on the local side, the present administration right now is the mayor of the city of Trenton, and that's everybody that lives here. Now, as far as the president himself, as far as support, I support him 100%, but the fact of the matter is that he can't do the work that he needs to do unless he's elected. And I think we have to give him the opportunity to do what he needs to do in his last 4 years versus what he did in his first 4 years. Of his first 4 years, he can't be the president of Black folks. He would never get reelected. Black folks didn't put him in office. If he waited on us to put him in office, he would have never got there. So to say that he needs to work on the issue of Black folks, yes, we have some serious issues that needs to be worked on. But I think we need to give him that opportunity to get reelected and finish out his last 4 years and see what he did before we judge him. On the flip side of that, Barack Obama is from Chicago. And if anybody knows the south side of Chicago, he is the truth. But I think you got to give him his next 4 years to even prove that. Just like that governor put a finger in his face, I think if he was reelected, she'd have got something different. But the fact of the matter is that he's got to run another 4 more years. So I think we need to give him that opportunity to do what he needs to do in his last 4 years.
Thank you.
Freedom? I'm of the premise religion is the opiate of the masses. And I think from that premise, we're always looking and searching for a savior. Barack Obama isn't the savior, he's the president. And I think a lot of where he operates from is the global reality. A lot of the stuff that happens or manifests itself, he has no control over. And he's fighting so many barriers. There's an internal war within his own people. When you look at us as Black people, uneducated, don't want to know the facts, don't want to go to the polls because of the pins that are stuck into our mindsets. Most minorities operate off the variables. Politics is evil. Most politicians are corrupt. Politics doesn't do anything. But this is the one thing that takes you off the poor part. It's the process that empowers you as an individual to be able to empower yourself, whether you're talking about education, economics, public safety, any variable of the social dynamic comes through the political arena. So as long as we stay detached from that, we won't have a clue as to what's going on. I'm a supporter of Barack Obama. I certainly would like him to speak to issues as a Black man. I don't know why. Well, I know why, because of the indoctrination process of slavery. This government loves to be specific when it comes to certain issues. When it comes to Jewish people, they demand that you respect their history, their lineage, and everything about them. What was it, Eddie Long, the pastor, who just got caught up in that video. He didn't apologize to anybody Black for that offense that he just did in that travesty. The first person he apologized was to the Jewish people. That's why, you know why? Because they have control. They have economic empowerment, and they will do damage to you in terms of career. So I'm saying in terms of us as a people, I certainly would like Barack Obama to stand up and just be a man on some issues. When people stand up and call him tar baby and disrespect him in front of that. That does not happen to any other president. And I'm saying before he puts on any titles, he's a man. Then beyond that, he's a Black man, which means he's the dominant intelligence, and I should see that. That is why he's having a difficult time now in terms of the re-election process. No idiot would want to be Republican. Republicans' whole ideology is to create two classes, haves, have-nots. Guess where we are? This is not that difficult. But because Barack Obama has not solidified himself as the intelligent, forceful, creative, strong-standing man of principle who speaks specific to issues, period, then that is why there's some drawback. He came amongst the Black convention and he told us to pull up our bootstraps and, and stop crying. But when he went to gay community, he didn't speak that to that in that type of tone. So again, part of me, when I'm always saying I'm not pro-black, it means that when I come amongst my people, I will die for my people. But I'm also going to hold any and every elected official accountable to do their damn job. And that's all. And he needs to speak to education and employment because he comes from Chicago, so he knows that is what's killing our people, our communities, and our cities. And it's also one of the main variables that lets us get back to solidifying ourselves to what made us once great, which is our family. And until you get back to rebuilding men and women, which will allow them to have families, you won't have any kind of promise in this world. That's something I would like you to speak to, but I will be voting for him, and I will be registering people to do that.
Thank you, Freedom.
Thank you, sir.
There you go. Any comments on that? President Obama, should he look at issues affecting Black Americans specifically?
I really don't like to speak on too much that I don't know.
Okay.
So, you know,
That's intelligence.
I also take
I'm gonna
That's intelligence.
He's yielding the balance of his time now.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, he's
All right, so Daryl, any comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say, in the beginning, I voted for Obama, and I thought that he was going to actually have the heart and the strength and the wisdom to lead this country to the next level after what George Bush did to this country. After the war in Iraq, the war in Iran, how the whole world looked at America, I was excited. And then I had to really investigate what Obama was all about. I mean, this man got more money than Wall Street, from Wall Street than any president in history. When we have black people in the church, Shiloh Baptist Church, tell me, people in there, he was sent from God. Now, I have friends in politics all around the country who talk, and they say, well, Obama's just like a regular person. He's a politician. Why are black people thinking this way? If you look at his cabinet, all from Wall Street. He bailed Wall Street out, what, $700 billion? But, couldn't do really anything for poor people. He hadn't mentioned poor people under his State of the Union speeches. So Cornel West is right. If you see what happened, I guess he's going to talk more about it. Muammar Gaddafi, he was against apartheid. He stood up for Nelson Mandela. And Obama is helping him out, is against him, sent drones to destroy his brother, have his brother who's been helping, supporter of Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now he's dead, dragged in the street, they're showing his picture in Time magazine. And Obama supports this. So, and when you talk about, when people talk, I listen to NPR radio and different sources, they said, well, we loved Obama. We thought Obama was this big change. If you look at Obama, he's almost to the point he's taken George Bush to the next level. He's still, if you look at Guantanamo Bay, he hasn't closed it. The Patriot Act, he hasn't done anything with it. And so these things that black people need to know that's so important about policy. We only see what? Yes, we can. Change we can believe in. What does that mean? Honestly, what does change we can believe in mean? And so you can talk about, well, the Republicans are doing this. Well, who controls Trenton? Democrats. Who controls Camden? Democrats. Who controls Newark? The white Democrats. And so, yeah, politics is home, is local. But if we ain't even ready to deal with the white Democratic power structure in Newark, Trenton, Camden, all these areas where all these young kids are going to jail. Obama, I supported the brother, but I can't anymore. I just can't, after what I've seen in his policies. I'm still trying to figure out, what does that mean? Yes, we can. And you fell for it. We all fell for the okey doke. For the okey doke. First of all, he had no experience. I mean, let's be honest.
Like somebody else I know.
He had no experience to be president of the United States. To be president of the United States. To be president of the United States. Right. And Cornel West was right for challenging. And I love the brother. I think he's a nice guy, a great family. But I don't think he's prepared to be president. And to be honest, if you just read policies, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Daryl might need some bodyguards after you leave.
I ain't no bodyguard. I'm being honest. If it's something that I just want to say something. If it's something that I have not been honest, please tell me at the end, or tell me I'm lying.
I'll let you answer.
I think his assessment of Obama, I was actually going to not say anything, but I felt compelled to. I think his assessment of Obama was fair.
No doubt.
But I think one of the things that we cannot leave out is the white man. We're not going to tiptoe in no conversation around white people. We're not going to do that. Okay? Let's be honest. All right? This is not about, Republican, Democrat, yes. But white people run all of that. The colleges, they run all of that.
That's true.
The budgets, the school, they run all of that. The unions, they run all of that. So we can't really look at Obama and say, and have a fair assessment of what he's done, because white people are fighting everything he do tooth and nail.
Right.
He's probably wanted to come out and make statements about black people. I don't know. The white people are like, nah, that's not the right thing to do. Not right now. You're low on the ratings.
Right.
We are fighting a system. We're not fighting up individuals. This is a system we're fighting. And since we've been here, you go to any law, policy, code in any state, it is mandated. These people must not survive. They must not succeed.
And it's written.
Okay, it's written. They cannot succeed. Howard University, the man who founded Howard University, he had 4 laws for black people. Can't recall them all, but I know that he said they cannot know anything about money. They cannot read and write. They should not know anything about defending themselves. And he had one more I can't think of. This is law. This is real. So when you look at even a Tony Mack, for example, even if Tony was a lot more successful in what he was doing, mindful and straight up knowledgeable, okay? Knowledgeable about what he was doing, people coming at him. John Harmon had my vote. I was on the campaign trail. We saw y'all right on Broad Street right here, right? Boom, got you. We on our way there. They've been fighting John, and they're going to fight John next election because John's going to be running, and John's going to win. Remember I said that. John Harmon's going to be the next mayor. I already see that. I already know that. That's my first time ever making that public. I know it. But anyway, they're going to fight John. They're going to come after him. They're going to come after us. That's their job. So let's not get caught up in what we are seeing as the result. We as black people have to be unified. We have to have a common purpose and a common goal. We can defeat anybody, anywhere on the planet. The Vietnamese fought the entire United States government with sticks and knives and a little bit of ammo, and they beat them. Why? Because the oldest woman in Vietnam was willing to help out. And she was willing to carry a bomb across the border when it looked like she had bread in her dress. Everybody, commitment, unified. We ain't unified, speaking of what he was saying, because we don't know who we are. We don't know who we are as a people. So one person think, I got brothers right here telling me they ain't black, they white. They the white man. That's what the Moors are saying now. They white. I'm a white man. You know you're going if you calling yourself a white man.
It's funny that you said that because me and Anwar was talking with brother, what's his name?
I don't know.
You talking about
Emperor? Yeah. He was talking here, and actually he's going to have the next session of this is going to feature Emperor.
Yeah, him not invited.
I'm good.
I'm good.
But just so I can end, all of this is a delineation of our post-traumatic slave syndrome that we are all suffering. Everybody in here is a sufferer from it. Whatever issues you have, we all got some strand of it. And we all are healing, still healing from 200-300 years of what they've done to us. And that's what we need to be talking about. Not Emperor Bey. We need to be bringing in about what's been done to us. Talk about that. We need to spend hours upon hours upon hours on the problem so we can come up with the solution. Not just a one shot and then solution. No. What's been done to us is what we need to discuss. Why do we don't have fathers in the household? Why do we have mothers who don't take care of their children? Well, I mean, this is a systematic thing that's been going on for 200-300 years. Why men are just making babies and not taking care of them. This is all protracted from enslavement.
That's right.
So let's not think that we're just these degenerate black people that don't got no knowledge of self and we just out here robbing and killing each other. My last point, we've never taken the time to think about the Africans who built this city. We were talking about this at the Trent House. I was telling my students. I asked them, well, where are the 11 people that worked in the Trent House? Where are they buried? I said, we have no knowledge of them. Have you ever thought that they might be buried at the bottom of Kingsbury, which is why there's so much violence in Kingsbury? Have you ever thought about they might be buried at the bottom of the courthouse? Might be buried at the bottom of the projects, because all that was his backyard, all of Trenton. So when you have unsettled souls in the grounds of the street, then you wonder why there's so much killing in the streets. Ah, man, I can go on and on.
Devon, I'll give you the last words on that question.
Not long but strong, family. If and when Divine allow Tracy Syfax freedom, when Big Ooh gets to that point where we know he's going to be in the industry, if Dow Brooks gets there, if and when, and Brother Baye, when we get to those points in our life, all of you who know us, it's almost the natural response to say, throw me something. It's natural. You know, put your thumb up at us. Come on, Divine, you made it. We know you. We ain't got to worry about you when you get in that seat, or, you know. But Barack Obama, you know, I'm a soldier. Negro, you owe us. You know, the lives that were lost in Chicago, the Black Panther Party, murdered by the very people whose families made a way for you to be the president right now. You know, you owe us, man. We ain't asking you every day to come out there and be Malcolm. You're not Malcolm.
Right.
You know, we don't expect you to. But you owe us. You owe us, you know, an explanation. You know, you owe us because you seeing what's in that back room. Though the lights are off in that back room back there that says Trent Toniana over it, he's seeing what's in there. He know the backdrop of them laws. He just you know, made one. You know, put it in motion. What is it? The NDAA, National Domestic Expatriates, something where they can, you know, lock you up because of your belief system. Martial law. He did this on New Year's Eve. He did this. He could have said, "Man, I'm not doing that." He can say that, y'all. Right. Let's stop playing. He's the commander-in-chief. He can tell all them crackers in the military and the offices, get out of my office. Right. He can say that.
Bush did.
George Bush did it.
That's right.
Bill Clinton did it.
That's right.
And most of us call Bill Clinton the first black president also. That's right. And during his term, most of the men that we out here trying to fight for to not be in jail, Bill Clinton signed the law to lock the 18 to 34-year-old black man up and make him serve the majority of his time. Yeah. Barack Obama can look at that and say, change that around, man. He can do that, y'all. So, let's get out of this thing where we can't hold these people accountable. Tony Mack is my man, but come on, brother. Do something.
That's right.
You're the commander-in-chief.
That's right.
Do something, Mark Maurice. You're the principal of Trent High School. Come on. Do something. We're not asking you to do it every day. I mean, come on. We understand you got to go to the board meeting, go, you know, talk to Christie. We understand that. But come on, man. Do something for that little girl who's inspired by Michelle Obama. Do something. Do something, man, for these young brothers who, the night you got elected, Obama, it was young brothers who never in their life would think about politics ever. They voted for you, homie.
That's right.
You know, they said, man, I'm changing my life, man. But I got she a lawyer too. I'm gonna get me a queen like that. When I heard them things, man, y'all gotta understand who and what we dealing with. America is an institution. Right. It's a business. The USA, the United States of America, is a business. It has to have a president, vice president, treasurer. It has to have that. And there's a establishment, a corporate entity behind running this.
It can be Barack Obama next. It can be somebody else, the next day. But when they look like us, we expect something. To whom much is given, much is required. And bro, you talk about Dr. King. He got blood gushing out of his neck. He never thought that he would see you. You can't throw nothing back to the people who stayed the course since '68. Yeah. The riots, the rebellions, and come on, y'all. Let's stop playing, man. He owes us. You murdered our brother in Africa. That's our brother, Gaddafi. That's right. Yeah. That's our extended relative. As quiet as kept. Gaddafi did a lot for black people. More than Fidel Castro. Man. Come on, y'all. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Consider the facts that are given to you. Just consider the facts, y'all. It's facts. These are facts. This is not emotionalism. We have a right to be emotional about this. Because, brothers up here, we sincere. Consider the facts that sit behind that brother in that office.
Good point. This has been a great panel. I want to thank everybody. Now I'm going to open it up to the audience. Anybody who wants to ask? We have about 15 minutes, so we're limited to 3 questions. Anybody want to ask a question? By raising your hand. I'll go with a man in the back.
I know everybody on the panel wants to make a change, and I understand that. But does anybody have a plan of attack that they're going to go with as they're entering into the arena in politics that has a culture of being corrupt, you know what I'm saying? And not just here, but everywhere. Because
with the violence in our communities and dealing with the violence in our communities, if you see what's happening, it's terrible. And so the idea is that if you can teach a child how to be nonviolent, meaning not violent to his own brother or sister, while in school, while at home, that child can learn. And there are programs out there that we're going to have here on nonviolence education. How do you be nonviolent? And it's also a strategy. Because, if you look what happened all through the 60s, nonviolence was a beautiful thing. We can implement that in our educational system, school system, in our home. And my brother Rob Jones from the Nonviolent Institute and Dr. Bernard Lafayette from the University of Rhode Island, he was Martin Luther King's aide. He will be here on that weekend. We're going to have it right here and have a small little workshop on nonviolence education, how to implement it in our school systems, in our home, in our communities. Because what is happening is, we don't have to have this problem we have in violence in our community. But if you don't have, once again, the lack of the preachers that have all the memberships, the politicians, and own people that are not willing to make the sacrifice to make these changes. I mean, it's all about sacrifice. I mean, I went to one event where they had YouTube, people from YouTube came out at City Hall. They had about a couple hundred people out there, and we talked about the violence. Well, how do you deal with this? And one of the ways is nonviolence education. And the idea is that you have to sacrifice all the partying, all these other things that we do. In the 60s they sacrificed. We can do the same thing here. But I think we party too much. I mean, we having a great time. We'll come out for a party, dance and shake our behinds, have a good time. But when it's time to change stuff in the community, you might see 1 or 2 or 3 individuals out there. And that's our problem. The violence and the problems will never stop until we decide we want it to stop.
I understand what you said, but the bigger question is really about the culture of corruption in politics in general. Yeah, thank you, Freedom.
I think a lot more violence.
Freedom, before you, just gonna one round of for these follow-up questions with the audience, you'll allow 2 people to speak, and then
I'll keep it brief.
And then we just go on to the next one.
I think that what you were asking for is the principle. And really, for me, I'm not saying that's where I'm going, but for me, the mayor is the inception point of being an ambassador of righteousness. That's in the educational system. I'll say it again. If I was mayor, that'd be my superintendent of schools right there. Why? Because it solidifies an idea and concept of righteousness. He's not going to allow our babies to be ignorant. There will not be young men walking around calling themselves the N-word. There will not be young ladies calling themselves the B-word. He will develop wholesomeness inside of that school system, which has to be the primary concern of the foundation of revitalization. In terms of business, There will not be trucks parked on our street with Parsippany, Bordentown, Newark, anything going on inside the city of Trenton. It will be Trentonians doing it because it generates revenue. And there's going to be a competent, intelligent, qualified team around me of some of the most pristine minds, efficient in their field of operation. That is what the mayor down there, and I'm not faulting him, I don't even want to talk about it no more. That is what he didn't do. You cannot do it by yourself. And the whole concept of the team and the tribe, which Baye laid out, that's what you do in terms of the team. So for me, all you're going to see me is different places constantly adding on and enhancing our city. Because you want people to feel good about where they are. You know how powerful it is for you to go to a different school every day and those babies in that school say, Mom, you know the mayor was in my school today? And he told me I'm outstanding and I'm significant and I can be anything I want to be. And then you go into local businesses and you do the same thing. Nobody in this city from a mayoral perspective has ever invested themselves completely and committed to the city of Trenton. I think we've suffered from it. I'm not going to keep going on because I want to respect the panel.
Since it's 7:40 now, sure.
The reality is that in just the city of Trenton, not even on a national level, we're just going to keep it local. There's a war going on outside.
And nobody's safe.
And you know, no disrespect to anybody on the panel statements or anything.
Yeah.
But my personal opinion, teaching nonviolence during the war, beyond dangerous, but suicide.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Teach.
You don't teach a boxer to keep his hands down in the ring. Now, we're not advocating saying be violent. But at the end of the day, you got to understand the surroundings and the situation, the environment we're in.
Teach you. Teach.
I could leave here right now, God forbid anything happen. I'm not here every day, bro. I can't go to my peers and say, no disrespect, bro, I'm not attacking what you're saying. But I can't go to my peers and say, you know, this was Martin's plan, we preach a nonviolent. I'm not trying to hear that. Because it's not, like I said, it's not an attack on what's being said. What I'm saying, we got to deal with the time now. We can't say during the 60s and etc. because even during the 60s, during Martin's nonviolence, it was major violence going on still. You understand what I'm saying? So I can't, me myself, I can't convince somebody to turn the other cheek. And hell's breaking loose every day. We all read the papers. We all on TrentTony.com. We all see your blogs on the website. I'm dealing with reality, bro. I'm not dealing with the way we want it to be or how we want it to turn out. I'm dealing with what it is. There was a boy buried today from South Trenton that was shot in the head. Downtown. Not walking distance from here. This is the reality. So I can't go to say, brother, we doing nonviolent. The reality is a car might pull up this long side of you by the memorial building and shoot 15 to 16 bullets into the minivan and whip off like a ghost in the night. This is the reality, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And I think I don't know too much about politics. I don't know too much. I talk about what I know. What I know is reality. And every day it's going down, bro. I'm saying in layman terms. I'm not going to dress it up. I'm not going to put nothing on it. This is what it is. You know what I mean? That's all I want to say.
I guess we all should just be carrying guns and shooting uptown.
Well, you have the right to.
All right. I want to thank everybody for the comments. And it's 7:40. They want us out by 7:50. So I have one last thing, a surprise. Somebody hand me that paper that's over there. Yeah, that was good.
There's no question. Just take back the question.
And then the panelists cannot take part in this contest I'm going to do here, but everybody else in the audience can. All right, so I'm going to ask 4 Black History questions, and there's going to be a prize. All right, 4 prizes. All right, but you have to answer the question correctly to get the prize. All right? Sound fair enough?
Yes, sir.
All right. How did you put this question on here? All right, but people might not remember. Okay. Black History Month began in what year? Who said it first? Okay. She's the first one.
Well, then since you already said it, why don't you go when Negro Week began?
Well,
Oh, no, not
I got that
well, since I asked it, I'll leave it at that. So, fair enough. She's the first winner.
What was it?
Oh, I'm sorry. If everybody didn't hear it. Black History Month began officially in 1976. I said it.
That's how you opened it up.
Yeah, I opened it up with that comment. But, no, panelists cannot be in the comments. Yeah. I'm going to hand out the... Okay, so next question we have, guys. All right. Up there. I'm not sure how to say his name. Guion S. Bluford Jr. was the what? Last name is Bluford. Bluford. President? No.
He's an astronaut.
Who said it?
Somebody from the left.
John don't need it.
So who was he again?
Minister.
First black astronaut.
Bingo, you got it. All right, second prize. All right. And next question. Who wrote the autobiography, Yes, I Can? In the back.
Angela?
No?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Who said it? Sammy Davis Jr. Who said it? Right there, girl, Snoopy Dog. She's the third winner, and one more winner. Last question. Dr. Charles Drew, first blood bank opened in what year?
1896.
Nope.
1964.
Nope.
1942.
Nope.
1940.
Who said it? 1940. That man is the last winner. So I want to thank everybody. You guys I'm gonna give you all. Make sure you guys stay where you're at. Okay, with the winners. But I want to thank everybody.
30 seconds.
Somebody want to? If they don't kick us out, all right. So we'll go last.
They gonna kick us out, man.
All right, 30 seconds.
Those are the marks starting with Tracy. 30 seconds. Guys, where you guys going?
All right. What's the business?
Oh,
Closing remarks?
yeah, closing remarks.
I just want to thank Anwar for putting this on. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want everybody to go. I got a book out titled From the Flock to the Ballroom. It's on the streets now. February 24th from 5 to 10, we're going to be at the Marriott Books, and February 25th, we're going to be there from 1 to 6. Make sure you get a copy. In that book is a chapter called The Blueprint. And the blueprint is not only specifically meant for us, it's meant for a city, it's meant for a town, it's meant for any urban area, along with yourself. So get yourself a copy of it. Thank you.
Why back? I mean, everybody's golden now. I mean, the work speaks for itself. Stop looking for a savior. Educate yourself, educate your family, educate the people around you, your community. That's where the start begins at. And I'm not going to advocate for where I'm going to be at. When we put the work in, you'll put me where I need to be. All right. Like, oh yeah, your family is.
Just want to thank Anwar for having us. Definitely a lot of information I learned and picked up just from the panelists.
Dangerous cats up there.
Definitely appreciate being a part of it.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, I'd like to thank Anwar Reflections for allowing me to be a part of this panel. I also have an audio book out, Why Me? The Life of a New Jersey Political Activist. You go to the Political Emporium. It's 80 minutes of interview, me and Delonte Arad. So we have that out. But, I like to say, we have to be aware of what's really happening in our city and start standing up for what's right. Not just what's politically right, but what's morally right for our people. And that's the problem.
That's an excellent point.
Okay, everybody, brother asked solutions also can't come together like this and not offer something you can do. We doing our part. That's why we were invited. Give thanks to Brother Anwar. But now, y'all got to come with another 50%. Every third Sunday, Trenton Anti-Violence Coalition, we somewhere in the street, at some intersection, shutting it down with our signs, stop the violence, blow your horn. If you in supporting us, in support of us stopping the violence. You can join us. The next one is Sunday, February the 19th. We're going to be in the intersection of East State Street and Olden Avenue. Y'all know how busy that is. We want to go out there and just show our faces. You all are invited every third Sunday. Also, February the 23rd, Trenton's first annual African Pride spelling competition. We got about 20 young children from the city of Trenton and surrounding areas doing the Black History spelling competition. Words like culture, tradition, diaspora, words that we know they're not getting in school. So that's at City Hall on the 23rd. Please support those who are trying to help you. We have some flyers somewhere around this library here, but I got my last two here. Thank you. Thank you all for coming too.
I'm not thinking Anwar because I expect to be here. No. I'll be mad when they be having it and we having stuff they don't invite me. I'm like, I ain't invited. I think we're doing too much giving out awards in the community. I think we're doing too much patting on the back. We need to do some groundbreaking work in the community. Everybody getting an award for something. For what? Don't give me no award. Let's get, you know what I'm saying? Let's get busy. Our school is hosting a production. The Garvey School is hosting a production called The Journey. I don't know if you all seen the flyers. This is the back side of the flyer. Y'all have hand flyers. We have posters all around the city. It's going to be May 10th and 11th. This is going to be the single greatest production that ever hit Trenton, New Jersey. That's right. It's African dance, drum. It's going to be a production. Do you see how beautiful this poster is? Yes. This is a reflection of how beautiful the production is going to be. That's right. That's right. We are already preparing for it 3 months out. Yes, sir. So when we hit that stage, it's going to be quality. So we want you all to come out, buy a ticket, bring your children, bring your mothers, for the whole family. We have a 10 o'clock, 1 p.m. show for the schools, 6 p.m. show for the community. We're going to sell out every show. So yes, all of your brothers buy a ticket. We're already on the school district. We're already on the daycares. We're on everybody's going to be on board. All right? Thank you.